sexy.
Why don't you just sit down, relax, as Eric mounts his mic.
Hey,
How's it going, man? You want to take a seat?
Cool, man. Yeah, we're just doing a podcast here at your at the event here.
Yeah.
In your spot, MakerSpace,
What's
Ottawa.
the podcast?
I'll get you to put your headphones on so you can actually hear what I'm saying.
All right.
Is that better? There you go.
Can you
I
hear
I
us?
could hear you.
Okay, so we're
The
limited-
website is twistedvoice.com. That's what it is. That's where you'll find this
Very
when
cool.
it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So
Twisted Voice.
what is it you do here exactly?
So yeah, I'm kind of the director. So MakerSpace North is three things. It's startups, events, and makers. So I am trying to build MakerSpace North on those three pillars. And yes, we've got like 10 companies in here now. We've got the Ottawa City Wood Shop. We've got a drone night once a month. And we've got events like this, like the OIMC.
That's awesome, man. How long have you been doing this?
We started November 1st, and it's been a pretty crazy transition. This warehouse that we're sitting in was completely filled with commercial shelving.
Right.
So we would do this thing where we'd like take down some shelving, pack it in a corner, sell some, try and have an event like a party or something. Parties really because that's all you can do in a room with commercial shelving.
So the shelving sponsored your parties, basically?
We got rid of a lot of shelving.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing was filled with it. There was a good it's like 10,000 square feet of shelving.
Right. What was it before this?
It was Wallach's Gallery. So this is where they did their commercial framing business. So they would cut the frames, make them, shipping and receiving out of the warehouse, which is cool because it's like kind of going, makers is a big component of this. So the place was nicely set up for it, right? We've got high pressured air and these copper pipes that go through the warehouse. We've got, we turned their wood shop where they would cut the frames. It's now Ottawa City Wood Shop. So it's a member-based wood shop where people can come and they run workshops like canoe paddle building and stuff like that. They've got a spoon carving workshop coming up.
Oh wow.
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, canoe paddles and spoon.
Yeah, I got a canoe building workshop next week.
Also, the spoon carving, is your current spoon not satisfactory?
Yeah.
I would like a spoon with way more depth to it. A good get a good 3 slurps out of a single.
I don't know,
spoon.
man. You're getting into ladle territory.
We've got a ladle. There's a lot of ladling going on.
You got your cereal spoons for the ratio for the milk to cereal ratio.
You know what?
your
You need to
soup spoons.
redefine spoon, I think, and that's a good goal. That's a good goal to have here.
Yeah, we'll move on to sporks next.
That's awesome. I know it's a really cool thing that you're doing here. We had research when we first started our production company. We researched some cheap office space or workable space with other companies and different startups and that kind of thing. And what you're doing is really cool because basically what it is, just for the people listening, it's a space where you can rent it out and start your company and sort of get your roots growing before you move on to the bigger thing. And you're allowing that to happen, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think my ideal scenario is someone comes in for an event, maybe like a conference or something, and then they go, oh well, there's got a wood shop and they've got an area where you can solder and build hardware. All right, well, I got this idea, I'll come in, build it, and then maybe you crowdfund it and you're like, oh, I've got some money now, I'm gonna get an office and make this legit. And then you sell your first 5,000 units, you become a real company, maybe you get funded and you graduate from here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, if we could do 4 or 5 of those a year, then this place is a huge success, and that could transform the local economy.
Oh yeah.
By creating 4 or 5, successful hardware companies.
Because if you're someone who I don't know, you do photography, you make movies, or you make canoes and spoons, you want to get right down to the canoe making, right? You don't want to worry about the paperwork involved with having an office and then the blue collar side of
as
things.
this thing progresses, I'd like to see all types of businesses coming through here. My focus has always been tech. That's my background. I do tech startups. So I like to see hardware companies come out of here, but there's been talks of doing like a digital media lab, so we could, in the same way, incubate a tech company. You could incubate a podcast, or a green screen small run TV show or something like that. There's kind of, you've got 19,000 square feet. It's pretty daunting, the amount of space.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a good problem to have. There's almost infinite possibilities. So.
Too much space. Wow.
That's another sound check, folks.
That's another one interrupting the.
Yeah, that's okay.
Give it a minute, see if it stops.
Hey, real quick, is this guy running game? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. He
Playing
seems
game?
He might be. I don't know. He's just schmoozing.
They're both good-looking people. I see. I see good things happening
There's some
between
good
them.
X-Men babies that could come out of that.
He's a strapping young lad. She's a healthy, young, vivacious woman.
Would you say this is the biggest event you've held here?
No, Arboretum Fest was the most people we've had in here. That was 800, and we had to turn away about 300.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was by far the biggest. It got weird in here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They had vapor barrier to create sort of a maze-like thing happening.
Wow.
But what inevitably happens with vapor barrier is it keeps all the moisture in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it does.
we had 800 people and a punk show, dancing, sweating. The lead singer was in an adult diaper. And then we had porta potties so that we could get up to capacity, and then we had in those movies where they show this derelict Chinatown and the steam is rising out of into the alleyway.
Yeah.
So we had that kind of that level of steam.
Wow.
Because they were cooking kimchi beef in the restaurant inside the warehouse. So the sweat and the kimchi beef and the porta potty all mixed together and got contained in this vapor barrier.
Oh.
And it had this weird biodome effect. The heat and the sweat would rise and then condense on the ceiling and rain back down. So
People
it was
really oriental for some reason.
it was like a tropical sweat forest.
Wow, that's sensual but stank.
Okay, so this is the second best thing you've done here then.
This
Next
is
to the
a
sweat fest.
this is a comfortable amount of people.
Yeah.
800 is I don't see us doing 800 ever again.
No.
Yeah, and it's not like that was the goal, right? It's more like it is a maker space for people to come and
Yeah,
make
it's
things, right?
we got to go family friendly. I think that one of the things is you do a big party that begets more parties, and before you know it, you're like, Jesus, did I just create a rave warehouse? That's not what I intended to do. So, we want this place to be family friendly. We're going to put the brakes on some of the bigger parties. Our landlord probably doesn't love the huge parties either. We're on the second floor, so with a 7-year lease, you don't really want to be hosting huge parties with a death drop on either side of this party. Some kid falls off the railing. That's kind of that puts a bit of a
damper on your
plans.
Yeah, exactly. And is your plan for this big space to always leave it that way, or do you think eventually the offices will sort of take over?
So what we're going to do is we're going to have prefab units inside the warehouse.
Okay.
So if you can imagine refurbished shipping container, a little log cabin, a Quonset hut.
Okay.
So if you can imagine those inside the warehouse.
Smart.
To create kind of an inside little mini mall thing.
Yeah.
And then we're knocking down the whole east wall of this warehouse and creating big garage door style windows so that we can open them up and it becomes kind of like a outdoor indoor mini mall kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole rendering of it in the lobby that you can see.
Oh, really?
We've done the quick 3D rendering of it.
Oh yeah, we broke in here the other day. That's live. But we came in here the other day.
No, we broke in. We broke in.
We found our way in, and we saw the 3D printer going at something. It was printing something. That's pretty cool.
The 3D renders gives you a good idea, but it's got a plane inside the warehouse, which I think is a little much. We definitely don't plan on having a $5 million plane parked in the warehouse for absolutely no reason.
You gotta dream big, man. It's MakerSpace, man.
Although there is a guy who is looking at building a plane in here with it's an open source plane design.
Yeah.
And then so you CNC it. I don't know if maybe people aren't familiar with a CNC machine, but it's a computer numerical controlled. So it's essentially like you program it, you tell it, here's what I want you to cut, and it cuts it out for you.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, he's got all the parts there for a plane. Tell the CNC, cut me a plane. Boom, you got a plane.
Holy shit.
It's crazy, man. That 3D printing industry.
Yeah.
You're gonna have everything you want at your fingertips.
It's pretty wild.
Like, you're not gonna go to a mall and get a phone anymore. When, like, I bet you're gonna buy an Apple printer that will print the Apple products for you.
Well, and they're already at the consumer level with 3D printers. It's
Yeah,
insane.
they're cool. My beef with 3D printers, though, is I like to call it's Chinese-made crap made locally.
Right.
Like, it's just, a lot of it is just plastic bullshit trinkets.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just phase one. Like, you're right.
Yeah,
3D
it's
printers
a stepping stone. Yeah.
they'll get there, but show me someone who has printed something more interesting than a piece of garbage.
That guy became a huge internet thing. He made guns, and then he put his plant, like he put the files online.
Yeah.
Defense Distributed was
Yeah.
the guy. He's
that guy.
awesome to listen to. He gives these kind of like, you know, American freedom talks, which just get you so riled up. Like, even as a Canadian, I want to fly an American flag out my window.
Yeah. Those guys are just shut up.
Yeah.
Those
Bro,
American freedom guys.
Bro's not a fan.
You're not a fan of the 3D printed gun?
What that guy does is
It's
really cool.
amazing. How could you not be a fan of a 3D printed gun?
Huge fan of the 3D printed gun. I wish I could have that and do it myself.
But you
but
don't like the politics
I
behind
don't like
it?
him. He's an idiot. Well,
Right.
not an idiot in the terms of that he can do that, but like how he delivers his message, it could be done a lot better. More people could connect with it, because right now he's like this renegade guy who's like, yeah, I'm printing guns, and like
Yeah, but you realize the whole
doesn't
point
take
of it is
over.
to just challenge the establishment. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
He's not.
Totally.
He's not super. I don't think the point is the 3D printed gun. Like, the point is you're challenging the government, and the government's fumbling over themselves to figure out what this means, and he's exposing he's exposing the government for what they are, which is a bunch of, you know, inept buffoons who don't know how to handle new technologies. So the governor of New York was talking about banning 3D printers, and because they could potentially print a gun. Now, again, it's not about the 3D printed gun. It's about exposing how dumb government is when
Yeah.
it comes to figuring out new technologies, and how weak they are to the politics of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
No one actually is going to 3D print a gun. Like, that's just stupid. You don't buy an $8,000 3D printer to make a gun you can buy for $300. Like, that's not, the gun isn't the point. It's the message of the gun.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the guy that we're talking about who does this stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember his name though.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Just the way he delivers his message, I wouldn't get what he said from it.
Oh, no?
No, like the way he delivers his message is he just comes off as like this radical gun toter who like loves printing guns.
Yeah, his message gets a little weird.
But
when
yeah,
it's
I
like,
totally get
I
the
want
message,
a gun in
yeah.
every home. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like, that's not real. What? You want a plastic gun in every home? Like, that's really what you're trying to do.
You should want a 3D printer in every home.
Every 3D
Right.
printer and everything.
That's just,
You want every home to have an $8,000 3D printer to print a gun that's $300.
but I think
do.
that's way more like a gun political issue than anything else with that guy.
So we won't be 3D printing guns here at MakerSpace
We're gonna
North.
make 3D guns today.
If there's any law enforcement listening, we won't be doing that. We're not making any guns.
No, Canada's pretty quiet with that kind of thing too.
We're 3D printing dreams here. 3D printing inspiration.
MakerSpace, man.
Yeah.
It's family-friendly creativity.
How many people are working with you?
Hold on, let me count. 0.
So it's just you. You're MakerSpace.
There's a whole bunch of kind of part-time people, like, so we've got a board of directors who handle events. So we go, you know, every other week we meet up and go, here are the events. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Who's in charge?
And people are just applying to these? Like, you're not at the point where you need to go and look. They just come to you?
Yeah, they kind of, a lot of it is inbound.
Yeah.
But again, like, you know, parties beget more parties. I get a lot of people being like, hey man, so I've got this artist coming in, and I was wondering, do you have capacity for 7,000 people? I'm like, oh, you must think this is the stadium of some sort. Like, no. You're looking for a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Where you must have this confused with Scotiabank Place. No, we can't do 7,000.
Okay, so for the layman listening to this out of the blue, how would you describe yourself in 2 sentences, and where can people go to get more information on this?
MakerSpaceNorth.com. Kyle McInnes, give me a goog. Look me up. I'm on the information superhighway. Put my name into your computer machine.
Is that on the internet?
What?
Information superhighway?
Yes, that's the internet.
That's
the internet.
Go ahead. I'm just making sure.
And I'm your man. If you want to do anything here, if you got a project you want to work on, get in touch with me, and we will make your dreams come true.
MakerSpaceNorth.com.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's wicked, man. I love what you guys are doing, or what you're doing.
Well, we're happy to have you anytime. There are many people involved. Like John Criswick is the guy funding this whole operation, and he's been, his network of companies, his portfolio is 23 companies that spans from, Mercury Lounge to, OIMC to. He's got a brewery, a distillery, a resort in Perth. Like this guy, look up John Criswick if you want to kind of get a sense of what's behind all of this.
Yeah.
And John Criswick has been a huge supporter of Ottawa and building cool businesses here. And this is sort of an extension of everything he's been doing. So look him up, and he's the guy behind it all.
He's the man with the plan.
He's the Wizard of Oz.
You guys have a brewing company in here, right? Is that
No, we don't. No.
I thought you did.
If the landlord's listening, we do not have a brewery in here. There is no brewery. But yeah, if you want to check out the brewery, it's just in the back.
We're wasted. That's funny. Is that him, John Criswick? Who's that?
John Criswick, Wikipedia, born...
The guy's going to space.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, John's got a ticket on Virgin Galactic.
This guy's...
I don't know when he cashes it in, though.
Is he the Richard Branson of Ottawa?
Yeah, that's a great way of describing him. He's the Richard Branson of Ottawa. Also, I'm not sure if I'd want to be the first guy in space. Like, I'll be on an untested... Like, I'd be the 150th.
Yeah, no, you gotta get some animals and people out of the way.
Yeah, I don't need to be the
before
first.
I go up there.
I want you to test someone taller than me, fatter than me. I want to see people jumping up and down on the plane. I want it well tested before I get blasted off in a rocket ship.
I can't...
Is this his website?
I don't think it's him.
Oh, okay. We'll look him up later.
John Criswick, Ottawa.
John Criswick.
You got to work on your Google skills.
I did that. Does he own johncriswick.com?
Sure does.
Wow, that's him. He's got the whole space frontier right on the front page here.
He's one of the projects we're going to be doing here at MakerSpace North is building a satellite.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so he's going to be funding Ottawa's first satellite.
Where did you get your funding for all of this? How did this all start?
John, man, John. Again, he's been putting up all the funds for it. We got a few loans from the Business Development Bank.
Right.
But really, it's him that's guaranteeing all the loans. And yeah, we got a 7-year lease, and the rent on this place is infinity. I get a bill at the end of the month for infinity, and I have to figure out how to make that happen.
Yo, phone, that's not a number, guys.
Yeah. Guys, my rent bill's just a symbol.
It's an sideways H.
Yeah.
You guys printed weird?
That's funny.
That's really funny. But, so he's obviously a business guy, and, I don't think they would put, thought and effort into things that they don't see potential in. So he obviously sees a lot happening from this.
Oh yeah, this place, the way I figure it, in 6 months, the way we're going, we'll be cash flow positive, and then we can really turn up the volume on this place and get some really cool things started, like putting a plane in here.
I actually knew a guy. He bought an old abandoned ship and turned it into his bachelor house.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's the sickest thing.
That's awesome.
Savage.
Anyway, thanks, Kai.
It's Kyle, right?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Kyle McInnes.
Kyle McInnes.
And that's MakerSpaceNorth.com.
MakerSpaceNorth.com.
Real easy. That's awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, man. That was a
Rock
pleasure.
on.